My friends, I want to talk to you today about a topic that can truly transform your life in profound ways, the power of silence. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Silence? Really? In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise and chatter, how can being quiet possibly make a difference? Well, I'm here to tell you that learning when to hold your tongue can be one of the greatest skills you can ever develop. You see, throughout our lives, we encounter countless situations that test our patience, challenge our beliefs, and provoke us to speak our minds. But what if I told you that in many of these moments, the wisest course of action is to simply remain silent? It may sound counterintuitive, but trust me when I say that choosing not to speak can often speak volumes. Picture this: you're at work, and a colleague makes a snide comment about your latest project. Your blood starts to boil, and you can feel a scathing retort rising in your throat. But then something stops you. A small voice inside whispers, "Hold on, take a breath. Is this really worth your energy?" And so you swallow your words and let the moment pass. Later, you find out that your colleague was going through a tough time personally and lashed out unintentionally. By choosing not to engage, you avoided a potential conflict and showed compassion instead. Or maybe you're scrolling through social media and you come across a post that really grinds your gears. You start typing out a heated response, ready to give that person a piece of your mind. But then you hesitate. You realize that arguing with a stranger online is unlikely to change their perspective, and it might just leave you feeling drained and frustrated. So you delete your comment and move on, preserving your peace of mind. These are just a couple of examples, but the truth is there are countless situations in life where silence can be your greatest ally. When you're tempted to gossip about someone behind their back, bite your tongue. When you're in the middle of a heated argument with your partner, take a step back and give yourself a moment to cool down before speaking. When you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, turn off the noise around you and sit in quiet contemplation. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but if I don't speak up, won't people think I'm weak or passive? And to that, I say absolutely not. In fact, it takes incredible strength and self-control to hold your tongue when every fiber of your being is urging you to lash out. It's a sign of maturity, wisdom, and emotional intelligence. Think about some of the most influential figures throughout history, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Rosa Parks, and Nelson Mandela. These individuals all understood the power of silence. They knew that sometimes the most profound statements are made without uttering a single word. By remaining calm and composed in the face of adversity, they were able to make a lasting impact on the world. Of course, this isn't to say that you should always stay silent. There are certainly times when speaking up is necessary and important, especially when it comes to standing up for what's right or advocating for those who can't advocate for themselves. But the key is to learn how to discern when your words will truly make a difference and when it's better to hold your peace. So how can you start incorporating more silence into your own life? Well, the first step is to practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions and learn to observe them without getting caught up in them. When you feel the urge to speak, take a moment to ask yourself, is this something that really needs to be said? Will my words improve the situation, or could they potentially make things worse? Another helpful strategy is to cultivate a sense of inner peace and calm. This might mean practicing meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply taking a few minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection. The more centered and grounded you feel within yourself, the easier it will be to stay composed and clear-headed in challenging situations. It's also important to remember that silence doesn't always mean disengagement or indifference. Sometimes the most powerful way to show someone you care is simply by being present with them, listening attentively, and offering a compassionate ear. In a world that's so often filled with noise and chatter, the gift of your undivided attention can be incredibly meaningful. Now, I know that cultivating silence isn't always easy. We live in a society that often equates being vocal with being powerful, and it can be tempting to want to make our voices heard at every turn. But the truth is, There's a deep strength and wisdom in knowing when to hold your tongue. It's a skill that can help you navigate even the most challenging situations with grace and poise. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're tempted to speak up, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this something that truly needs to be said? Could my words potentially cause harm or escalate the situation? Or might it be better to simply take a step back and observe? Remember, silence is not weakness. It's not passivity or indifference. Rather, it's a powerful tool that can help you cultivate inner peace, build stronger relationships, and navigate life's challenges with greater ease and clarity. In a world that's so often filled with noise and chaos, the ability to find stillness and quiet within yourself is a true gift. It allows you to tap into a deeper sense of wisdom and intuition, and to approach life with a greater sense of purpose and intentionality. So, my friends, I encourage you to start embracing silence in your own lives. Start small if you need to. Take a few minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection, or challenge yourself to hold your tongue in a situation where you might normally speak up. Pay attention to how it feels and notice any shifts or changes in your perspective. Over time, you may find that cultivating silence becomes easier and more natural. You may start to feel a greater sense of inner peace and clarity, and you may find that your relationships and interactions with others begin to improve as well. Remember, the power of silence isn't about suppressing your voice or denying your truth. Rather, it's about learning to use your words wisely and intentionally, and about cultivating a deep sense of inner stillness that can guide you through even the most turbulent of times. So, let's dive a little deeper into each of these situations where silence can be so transformative. First, let's talk about those moments when you're faced with criticism or negative feedback. It's natural to feel defensive in these situations, to want to justify yourself or prove the other person wrong. But more often than not, responding reactively only escalates the tension and makes the situation worse. Instead, try taking a deep breath and giving yourself a moment to pause before responding. Use that silence to really listen to what the other person is saying without judgment or interruption. Try to understand where they're coming from, even if you don't necessarily agree with their perspective. By holding your tongue and creating that space for listening and reflection, you give yourself the opportunity to respond from a place of greater clarity and wisdom. You may find that the criticism isn't as personal as you initially thought, or that there's actually some truth to what the other person is saying that you can learn and grow from. And even if the feedback is entirely unfounded or mean-spirited, by choosing not to engage reactively, you maintain your own sense of dignity and self-respect. You communicate through your silence that you refuse to be pulled down to the level of pettiness or negativity. Next, let's consider those moments when you're tempted to gossip or speak badly about someone behind their back. It can be so tempting to join in when others are sharing juicy stories or complaints, to feel like you're part of the in-group by participating in the chatter. But gossip is a dangerous game, one that can quickly spiral out of control and cause real harm to the person being talked about. Even if you don't mean any malice, your words can take on a life of their own and create ripple effects that you never intended. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where gossip is being shared, try choosing silence instead. You don't have to necessarily confront the people speaking or make a big show of your disapproval. Simply excuse yourself from the conversation or change the subject to something more positive. By refusing to participate in negative talk, you send a powerful message about your own values and integrity. You communicate that you won't be a part of tearing others down, even in subtle ways. And who knows? Your silence may just inspire others to reconsider their own words and actions. Another situation where silence can be incredibly powerful is when you're in the midst of a heated argument or disagreement. It's so easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to feel like you need to prove your point or defend your position at all costs. But more often than not, arguing rarely leads to any kind of productive resolution. It just leads to more anger, more hurt feelings, and more entrenched positions on both sides. Instead, try taking a step back and giving yourself some space to cool down before engaging further. Use that silence to really reflect on what's being said and to consider the other person's perspective with an open mind. You may find that when you approach the conversation from a place of greater calm and clarity, you're able to communicate your own needs and opinions more effectively. You may also be more receptive to finding a compromise or solution that works for everyone involved. Of course, this isn't to say that you should always back down or avoid conflict altogether. There are certainly times when it's important to stand your ground and advocate for yourself or others. But by choosing your battles wisely and approaching disagreements with a spirit of openness and compassion, you'll be much more likely to find a resolution that truly serves everyone's best interests. Another powerful way that silence can transform your life is by helping you cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and self-awareness. In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise and stimulation, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activity and lose touch with your own inner voice. By carving out time each day for silent reflection or meditation, you give yourself the opportunity to tune out the external chatter and tune into your own thoughts and feelings. You create a sacred space where you can simply be present with yourself, without judgment or expectation. At first, this practice may feel uncomfortable or even boring. Your mind may wander or resist the stillness. But over time, as you continue to show up for yourself in this way, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in your awareness and perspective. You may find that you're able to observe your own thoughts and emotions with greater clarity and detachment, rather than getting caught up in them. You may start to feel a deeper sense of connection to your own inner wisdom and intuition, and a greater trust in your ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. This inner stillness can be a powerful anchor in times of stress or uncertainty, a reminder that no matter what's happening in the external world, you always have a place of calm and stability within yourself to return to. And as you continue to cultivate this practice of silent reflection, you may find that it starts to ripple out into other areas of your life as well. You may become more patient and present in your relationships, more focused and intentional in your work, more attuned to the beauty and wonder of the world around you. In fact, some of the greatest creative minds throughout history have relied on silence as a tool for tapping into their own inner genius. Artists, writers, and innovators like Pablo Picasso, Virginia Woolf, and Albert Einstein all spoke about the importance of solitude and quiet contemplation in their creative process. By giving yourself the gift of silence, you open yourself up to new possibilities and insights that may have been drowned out by the noise of daily life. You create the space for your own unique voice and vision to emerge, unencumbered by the expectations or opinions of others. Of course, cultivating silence isn't always easy, especially in a world that's so often geared towards constant stimulation and distraction. It can be tempting to fill every moment with noise and activity, to seek out external validation and approval at every turn. But the more you're able to resist those temptations and carve out even small moments of silence for yourself, the more you'll start to reap the benefits in your own life. You'll find that you're able to approach challenges with greater clarity and resilience, to communicate more effectively and compassionately with others, to tap into your own inner wisdom and creativity. And perhaps most importantly, you'll start to feel a greater sense of peace and contentment within yourself, a deeper knowing that you have everything you need within you to navigate whatever life may bring. So, my friends, I encourage you to start experimenting with silence in your own lives in whatever way feels authentic and meaningful to you. Maybe it's taking a few minutes each morning to sit in quiet meditation, or going for a silent walk in nature, or simply pausing before responding in a conversation to really listen and reflect. Pay attention to how it feels to create those moments of stillness for yourself, and notice any shifts or changes in your perspective or experience. And if you find yourself resisting or struggling with the practice, be gentle and compassionate with yourself. Remember that, like any skill, cultivating silence takes time and patience to develop. But I promise you, the rewards are well worth the effort. By learning to embrace silence in your own life, you open yourself up to a whole new world of possibility and potential. You tap into a deeper sense of wisdom, creativity, and resilience that can guide you through even the most challenging of times. And perhaps most importantly, you send a powerful message to yourself and others about the value of taking time to pause, reflect, and simply be present in the moment. In a world that's so often focused on doing and achieving, the act of being silent can be a radical and transformative choice. So let us all commit to creating a little more space for silence in our lives, to listening more deeply to ourselves and others, to honoring the wisdom and creativity that lies within each of us. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of stillness at a time. And as we navigate this path together, let us remember the words of the great spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle, who said, "Silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation." May we all learn to speak that language more fluently, and may it bring us closer to the truth of who we really are. In the end, the power of silence is not about withdrawing from the world or shutting ourselves off from others. Rather, it's about creating the space within ourselves to show up more fully and authentically in all that we do. By cultivating a practice of silence, we develop a greater capacity for compassion, both for ourselves and others. We learn to listen more deeply, to communicate more clearly, to navigate challenges with greater ease and grace. And as we begin to embody these qualities more fully, we naturally start to have a more positive impact on the world around us. We become a force for healing and transformation simply by being more present and attuned to the needs of the moment. So, my friends, I invite you to join me on this journey of discovering the power of silence. Let us be the ones who are willing to pause, to listen, to reflect, even in a world that's constantly urging us to do more and be more. Let us be the ones who have the courage to be still, to trust in the wisdom that lies within, to honor the sacred space of silence that connects us all. And let us remember that in every moment we have the choice to either react to the noise and chaos around us, or to respond from a place of inner calm and clarity. May we always choose the latter, and may we inspire others to do the same. As we move forward on this path together, let us hold fast to the knowing that silence is not a weakness, but a strength. It is not an absence, but a fullness. It is not a void, but a source of infinite possibility and potential. And may we always remember that the greatest transformations often begin in the quietest of moments, when we're willing to simply be present with ourselves and with life exactly as it is. So thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself and for the world in this way. May your practice of silence be a source of deep nourishment and renewal, and may it bring you ever closer to the truth of who you really are. Together, let us embrace the power of silence, and let us use it to create a world that is more compassionate, more connected, and more truly alive.